Episode 48 of Rubber Down. Binny, we had a week off, work commitments. We're back. I'd been at Pink Night. That's why I'm repping the Pink Night. Look, I didn't wear anything that night, but I actually thought it was my Kendrick shirt. But this was a Rico Abreu shirt from the Parramatta days. I think it's the 89 car. But how are you, brother? And what's been happening?
Yeah, I'm good, man. Busy weekend for me as well. Spent Friday night out at the Supercars. And then spent Saturday night watching the Supercars at home. And then Sunday I went out there as well. But let's just say the heat beat Binny because it was way too hot out there. I think I stayed out there till the top 10 shootout and then jetted home to watch the race from home under the aircon. And I tell you what, I made the right decision because it started pissing down rain as well. But yeah, what a weekend. Awesome to have Supercars back.
All right, you're full on your Supercars. I tried to listen to it on the way home from Queensland. But before we get into the sprint car action and Supercars, of course, today's episode is brought to you by Eliminator Race Wings. Eliminator Race Wings are Australian manufactured with recessed rivets for extra strength.
Manufactured with 6061 T6 aluminium for lightweight and strength. Sprint car top wings, dished and flat, along with front wings.
They also have Formula 500 wings now available.
Eliminator Race Wings available.
Boom, all right, there we go. Australia-wide Eliminator Race Wings. Binny, so this weekend, brother, I was at Ultimate Pink Night in Toowoomba, and before we even get into that, Toowoomba really give that vibe of they try to put a show on for the fans. And I'm not saying maybe not pay-per-view streams. I don't know because I was there. But I mean, when you're there, they always do the driver signing system for the half an hour. The teams try to get their merch out there for that hour to 2 hour period. They did the sickest burnout thing I've ever seen where like there was a burnout car that did like pink smoke in the air. And while that was happening, the O'Connell brothers were in their full decked out breast cancer cars, obviously to support and for the hard times they're going with at the moment with their family and that awful breast cancer situation. But yeah, it was just some scenes and sights when I was there, man. Wow, Toowoomba are just, I'm really excited for the Australian Sprint Car title coming this November.
Yeah, it should be good. I don't know. I'm a bit hesitant on the time frame they've put the title, but I feel like it's going to be a cracker event. And yeah, I feel like there's two guys that we'll touch on that are going to be your red hot favourites up there. And they put on a show on the weekend, and I just think, yeah, it's going to be one of those guys that are up there this year for the title. So
see right there, it's already different. You have to say not this year, you have to say this season coming.
Yeah.
Because it's like next season's Australian title. So when we're at Red Hot coming, which we are, Binny's making the trip this time. He's coming to Red Hot, and I think it's his first time ever to T-Bar, which I can't wait for because it's just the most, I don't say unique, it's just there's nowhere like in Australia for T-Bar similarities where you can watch on the fence and when you're filming or watching on the infield. It's just such a small place, but when you say small, it definitely doesn't take away how good it can be on nights. And this is why I think if you were to change when the Australian title is, Toowoomba's the place to do it because I feel like over the last few years Australian titles, it's going to feel different and revamped. It's just my vibe. Just how Toowoomba put into their fan stuff. Now, don't get me wrong, I was at Borderline. Borderline was a great Australian title. It ran smoothly. Wasn't so much on the fan side of things. I know they had a night thing the night before, and which was okay, but it felt late, like it was randomly added late, where I think T-Bar are going to be all over it, and I think maybe it's going to really rev up that speed week and high limit period. Like, we've got one of the biggest things ever in the country and our season at the Australian Sprint Car title. And then it's like, boom, a lot of teams are either going to separate and go south or separate and go west for wherever they're deciding to run in that Boxing Day period. So I think normally we see that Boxing Day period go, all right, now it's time to go. I think we're going to be even pumped up before that period.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's going to be a massive effort by the teams to go like that. It's going to be like 3 to 4 months of solid racing for them. And especially the guys that are heading over west, man, they've got some travel. But it'll be cool. I think the speed week down south has definitely built a lot of momentum. And that's really cool to see. And then high limit as well. It's just getting bigger and bigger every year over there. So it's going to be cool to see that. Like the season's not even over yet, but I'm excited for next season already.
I 100% agree with that. And I don't know if it's whether we've been traveling or really doing the podcast a lot more where we're talking about it and promoting it more. But I do feel like we've got teams that are elevating themselves. Like, I think as soon as we get a national series, and I hope we do soon, man, it's going to be mega and out of the gates. Like, boom, like, you know, so... and yeah, we still got Red Hot Shootout, a big show, Maddington Toyota Sprintcar Series Grand Final. What else? You got Easter, like Easter's the big time here in Australia, and then that's about it. And then all of a sudden it's September or August, and teams are at Chariots. Like, it's just how quick it's going. So we'll get straight into Pink Night. Now, like I said, I'm wearing that shirt because of Ultimate Pink Night, and yeah, it was an interesting night. So, once again, the format changed a little bit. And this is not just T-Bar, but the only thing different about the format on the change was instead of they do like a mid-pack Stars Dash, so it's like a mix between Maddington Toyota, they actually did Maddington Toyota. This time it felt like. So, it was Flight 1 and Flight 2. So, Group 1, Group 2, Group 3, Group 4. So, in saying that, it was still like 4 cars qualifying at once, or 2 cars. I don't know. It ran so quick. Qualifying, I felt, and maybe Toowoomba's getting ready for the Australian title because they got a small infield, and if you have like 80 cars there or 60 cars there, you know what I mean, there's going to be limited room for that infield. Yeah. But they qualifying ran really quick. I felt there was definitely a Flight 1, Flight 2. McHugh goes quick time. Newton was on his heels, and then Flight 2 was Jai Corbett on his birthday. So happy birthday, Jai. Went quick time, and the times were still very close from Corbett, Newton, and McHugh. Like in a whole, Corbett was in a different flight, and I think he was like 12.034, and let's say Newton in second in Flight 1 was 12.024. So pretty quick still, you know. The track did blow off straight away, which I think was absolutely perfect for time trials. Like, no one expected that the track to just go zap and dust was on the first group of hot laps, which I thought was like, oh, cool, yeah, we got a track like we're going to be racing on. And then, yeah, straight away it went to the 8. It went 4 heats. Invert was 24, so that means your invert was 6. So the fast guys go to 6th. Guys made moves early. McHugh went to 3rd. Newton went to 2nd. And then I think Brody Davis had a really good heat and like won the heat. So they put themselves at the front of the A and B dash, which was outside-inside row. And then, yeah, the 2 guys off the front row, McHugh and Newton, separated them from the rest pretty quick. Newton was, not letting McHugh get out of the way, but McHugh wasn't really, attacked till late when lap traffic came in. But there was a lot of stoppages early on. I think 5 cars got wrecked out in turn 1. I think it was Kelly getting into back of maybe Stewart or something like that. And then it was like Corbett, Norman, Brent Kratchman, a few guys just all up and over. And that sort of was like, well, there goes 5 cars. And then it was just not big wrecks at all. Maybe the Max Guilford one where Casey O'Connell tagged the wall, nearly wrecked. And then it looked like Guilford in the Bohard car got off the gas and like just eat the cushion, and then it flipped him. And then yeah, just little things spin out to that, and it felt like the race nearly really got a momentum, so it suited the guys at the front for sure. And then we seen Newton, pull a big slide job late with Mick Sowers, a lap car, and then I think that was around with like 7 or 8 to go, as they finally got a bit of momentum going. And yeah, it was just a bit of a graveyard in the infield, but it was still a track that, and also separated boys from men's. It was tricky. Like it wasn't like, oh my god, like it's a smooth track. It was a pretty gnarly cushion in 1 and 2. And from your point, watching replays or anything, what were your thoughts on the track and the feature?
Yeah, when I first started watching it, I sort of watched, I think, the A and B dash and then the feature. I didn't watch anything else of that night, but it was the first couple of laps. I think it was off the restart after the 5 cars wiped out on lap 1, and Newton hitting the cushion and sort of bicycling it through turn 2, and I was like, oh man, this is a tricky track. Like, these guys are gonna be like going for it, but it's tricky. And it sort of looked like it was rough. It looked like they were settling up to go ride a bull. Like, but yeah, you could definitely see McHugh and Newton. You can tell how many laps they've done around that track. They're superb around there and so quick. So yeah, it really shows how much it benefits you doing so many laps around a track, and really keeping your bum in the seat and doing those laps helps you get quicker and quicker. Like Lockie McHugh's are just insane. Like, I wonder how many feature races he's won at Toowoomba, because I reckon it would be double digits for sure, easily.
I honestly think on the stat, I think he has won the most overall ever. Like,
Yeah,
I swear they say that, but also too, it's not just Lockie McHugh; it's the SRV team, and it's the whole team. This is where I think we rock up to these big events or just weekly events, and it's not so much the best right. How do I explain? I try to explain this to people. It's not the best rise to the top, like driver wise. It's the whole team, top to bottom.
Yeah,
And it has for the history of the sport. Look back at the 90s. Names you remember where Dumsney, Tatnell, Brazier, Farr, Jackson, Skip. And that was because they were always a part of a really good team and a package. And they had their stuff together. And now we're in a phase where it's, and then you skip again. You go through Horror Motorsports, who's just come back, which is cool, bringing Ryan Murcott back in the seat, which is literally a throwback to the car that won the Australian title, and we can, touch on that as Ryan develops in that car, but that's awesome to see. But we go through periods like that where it was Steve Lyons, James McFadden, Jamie Veal dominating Kerry Madsen over that period, James McFadden in the Monty car. Like, we're going for a period, and I think we're really at an awesome period now where the best teams rising to the top, and they have, with the Team Brady, James McFadden, SRV, Lockie McHugh, Jock Goodgie Racing, Jock obviously, GW Racing, Brock Hallett, Monty's whenever they get in America in are at the top, Kingshot, Cricky, Williamson, his own deal, R&R 66, Ryan Newton, Kerry Madsen, anything he comes back in is a weapon, but he comes back to a good team, he doesn't come back to nothing. So it's just, there's a lot of guys now that with their whole package is ready to win, and they're getting it together. So yeah, it's awesome. And I think on the weekend, like I said, it was those two in the race for racing for third and onwards, which was cool. We've seen Lockie, really dominate Toowoomba. And the weekend just really got me excited for red hot shootout with more teams coming, but also what Toowoomba really try to do each night and make it a show and an atmosphere for the fans.
Yeah, I'm excited to get up there. Like, watching it on TV, watching it via your socials and stuff when you're up there, I don't know, it's going to be different. Like, I remember the first time going to premiere and I was like, whoa. Like,
I gotta cut you off. I'm telling you, the first or second time I ever went there, which was Thunder of the Downs. I didn't watch on the infield. I just was outside filming, doing Code Man. And then the last time I went there, I maybe been red hot last year, or like when they delayed it.
Yeah.
And I stood on the infield and I was filming cars. I think it was like Heat 4 or B main. And I was filming. And I just put my phone down and just watched the cars go past me on the infield because how close they were. But the sounds of everything and how far Codeman Racing, and we hadn't even started Rubber Down maybe then, all we did, but how far I'd come to be in that position. I was just like, I got a bit emotional. I was like, this sport is so cool. And then it even, like, in my head, I was like, I really want to try to keep elevating this sport. More people need to see this shit.
Yeah.
Because, like, what the heck? Like, I was just in awe of what I was watching. And that's why I've been saying to you, just get to T-Bar, brother. Come. Just because it gives you that Parramatta vibe of, like, everything's, I'm going to be honest, like, nothing's flash. Really, like, it's not like the fans or the pits or like concrete or anything, but it doesn't need that. And I'm definitely not bagging it out saying that. I just feel, man, like it's one of the truest speedway tracks you can get to in Australia. And as a Parramatta fan, I feel like now they're even building that hill, man, it's gonna, if you're a Parramatta fan, you got to get to Toowoomba just to give you that authentic speedway feel.
Yeah, it's gonna be wicked. Oh, I'm excited, and I think they'll have a big field for it, and wrap up the season with a bang.
Bang, bang. Now, to finish off T-Bar, obviously the top 5 was Lockie McHugh, Ryan Newton, Dylan Menz, Sean Thompson in the flames. Still rocking it with the pink mudguards you had, and Casey O'Connell. So, emotional night for the O'Connell team. Cars that stood out to me that got involved in the pink night, right? So, cars that stood out to me that I was like, good job, man, running the pink and stuff was Riley Smith's car looked cool. Had the Valvoline on the top and the pink. Talia Pell's car was well presented. Renee McNee, which I'm hoping I'm saying your last name right, sorry, but she actually came back from she put it all over socials, her truck and car actually got burnt down from arsonists.
Yeah,
and she brought it back with, some pink flames on it, like rising from the flames and stuff, which I thought was a well-presented car. The O'Connell brothers, awesome, just awesome. It literally, on their top wing, it had mum as well, and it was awesome. They've really put effort into the event, and Dobson ran the wheel covers, which looked cool. It was such a little. I think even Nick Wells ran like a strip of pink. So did Oldfield. And sorry if I missed anyone else, but I'm just saying, like, people put into it. Not every team did, but like even Lockie McHugh and his pink helmet from Napa with the bone dry wine and stuff, like just
That's
subtle things. You know what I mean? Like teams were trying, which was awesome. And, I just hope, like, nights like pink nights just keep growing. Because I remember, like, Parramatta's pink night was mega. Like, for the fans and stuff. And T-Bar run one. And hopefully we get more. And then even T-Bar this year did the men's mental health night. It was a black night. Like, man, like, these nights. Like, I hope we just keep getting car counts and all these auctions and all that to raise money. I wanted to do... I don't know when it is, but if someone can comment on that, I'd love to do something world greatest shave. I'll do it. I don't give a shit. I just, I've always been, my family history, my sister had leukemia forever, and she wasn't supposed to live past the age of 5, and she is now 30-something. I love you, Jen. But she's older than me, but, she was given a no % chance to live. And she's still here kicking, and just all that type of stuff with charity or anything is like, I'm all for it. So could you imagine if we did like a world greatest shave at the Speedway and we had like, 20 people sitting there on the infield just shaving your head? Or, I don't know, like, I don't even know. It doesn't have to be. I like men's mental health, do moustaches. I'd love to do anything, especially with our socials growing. I want to use it for that stuff. Yeah, Binny's already for November every year. But I mean, like, just I want to start getting involved in doing stuff like that to raise help with it. It's just not so much I don't do it now. It's more just you forget, and then all of a sudden it's November and it's too late. You don't want to do something half-hearted. So,
Yeah.
everyone that put in for Pink Night and all your pink stuff, like, congrats to you. And Toowoomba did a ripper job. Like, they even changed the wall paint, mate, to pink. They resprayed the bloody wall, which I think they only just resprayed it brand new black because it was old and red. But just stuff like that. So thank you to everyone. And yeah, it's a really fun night where everyone gets around it. Now, move on. Next segment. Now, I'm trying to keep segments here on the pod because we love talking about crap, but sometimes we ramble on too much. So we'll tighten it up. 20 minutes in, I wanted to go another 25 minutes. That's how we go, Vinny. Sydney is this week. Now, we were ready to talk about Western Sydney Speedway after last week. We enjoyed that night there. Very different night. But now Sydney is this weekend. Hi-Tec Oils Super Series, 5.5 Gs to win. I think we're going to see a better car count. I haven't seen anything yet, but just the vibes. I was even getting some Queensland teams asking me, like, how do we nominate at Sydney? It doesn't seem easy. And I was like, I don't know, bro. Like, I don't work there, but I've never had to nominate to race. But, I had a few teams I can inquire or just ask, how's it going? And I feel like because we're there a lot, I do get people asking me. And I still go, yeah, it's good. I don't work there, but, yeah, I'm there all the time. It's good. So preview on this weekend, but also just a few thoughts on last race meeting and, go.
Yeah, last race meeting at Sydney was very different to anything I've seen at Sydney before. I don't know. The main things were probably the track, and after that feature, I've never seen that track that smooth. Like it was like a road had been laid down there instead. Like we were going asphalt racing, it looked like. And surprisingly, like talking to the drivers afterwards, it didn't take rubber, but everyone thought it was going to take rubber. So it was really, really weird, but really cool night to see Kobe get the win there. Put on a ripper battle with Dobson to start. And they were sort of just going back and forwards for probably the first 10 or so laps. But yeah, and then Daniel Sayer also to come through the field and finish second. It's just, you can definitely see that the Sydney guys in Sydney step up. Like you talk about the PA posse and stuff like that. And we used to have the Parramatta posse back in the Parramatta days. But I really think that Sydney guys are sort of making a name for winning at their home track and getting the job done. So it's really cool to see.
Yeah, it was really cool. I always feel like we go to Sydney and doesn't matter if it's 21 cars. There's a good 10 that can win it on the night. It's not a or 2-horse race, but obviously if a big dog rolls in, you're going to expect them to be at the front. But I just feel the more races we get at Sydney, and now that the track isn't Parramatta, which I love Parramatta guys, relax. But I feel now that, they're running against walls a bit more, and it's a similar vibe to some other tracks. I think the New South Wales talent is going to come back real quick. It was different. The track was like dust, but it wasn't a dust ball for the fans. And I think, like we said, they were nearly going to cancel it at 1 o'clock with how much rain we had. They compacted the shit out of that track. It went slick early, but for me, vibe in the pits felt great. I didn't hear one team or driver whinge. Maybe teams complaining about the inverse system, how there was no qualifying, 2 heats, and then the highest points pulled, I think it was maybe a 2 to 10 or 2 to 8. Matty Dumpsey pulls an 8, but that got eliminated when Kobe Wright won from 9th and Daniel Sayer came from behind there too. So, in that sense, technically, I believe that night was near perfect. From watching from afar, I don't know exactly for all race teams. And yeah, you can say, okay, you're biased to Sydney, but why don't you want it to work? Because what's your issue? It needs to work. I just been at Toowoomba. That's 10.5 hours. Then you got around to Sydney. That's 10.5. And then you go to Warrnambool. Queensland teams are driving 20 hours to get to Warrnambool. We need that middle, and Sydney, legit, every person you see, like even your dad's mate was there, man. And he was blown away with the facility and how cool it was. And you go to these other tracks and you're like, well, man, Sydney, if you actually take your head and whole body and just your thoughts back and you look at what Sydney is as a thing, not what's happened, you go, why would you want this place to fail? Look how good this is. Yes, nothing's perfect. But, I'm really excited. I hope it goes good this weekend. Weather forecast isn't great, but hopefully we get on the right end. And, Kobe Wright's drive, it was literally a year apart from his last win at Sydney. It was his dad's birthday, as he said in our Rubber Down interview. And while I got everyone here, remember to subscribe. If you're watching the YouTube channel, subscribe. Hit it. And then if you're on everything else, just hit the follow buttons, whatever, because, that helps us keep promoting and giving you your show weekly. Sydney this weekend, Benny, and then, we'll head the double header at Geraldton. Now, this is cool for me. I really am excited for this to watch on Clay-Per-View 2 nights. Now, February 28th and March 1st. Leap you guys. Relax. But I just looked up real quick. If you YouTube Geraldton Speedway, the last time I think there was a Clay-Per-View stream was there for Street Stocks or something. But it comes up on YouTube. But this is nothing like the boys that ran on this year. So I know the cream, and we always say Team Rose is the top, but I think we're going to see a different weekend at Geraldton. I'm really excited, and I hope, they get it all going and the track can hold up, which I'm not saying they won't, but I'm just saying I hope they have a smooth weekend because, man, the WA guys, I think, need a track like this to race at more because it's tight, it's not as banked. I don't know. It ain't no Perth Motorplex, and that's good, I think, for the Western Australia teams. And double header, Binny, and it's not even like Albany. Albany look big and sweeping and cool. Nah, this looks even. To us, I think we'd go there and really enjoy it because we're East Coast guys.
Yeah, we did speak about it early on in the season, heading over for that Geraldton round. I think it's going to be cool to see. And I expect some of the guys that don't normally run at the front to be at the front. I know you're saying the cream rises to the top, but I reckon you're going to see guys that aren't your usual front runners up the front. Because you got guys in that field that run their limiteds and stuff like that, and those guys run all over the place. And I think I know everyone says, oh yeah, but the good drivers just adapt and make it work. But I think having laps at that place, or if you've had some experience there, I think it's really going to show, and I think you're going to be rewarded with a good result. That was a real tongue twister then for me. I don't know why.
Rory then. Like Scoob.
But I think you're still going to see your usual, like your Cal, your Kingshot, those guys still up there. But I think it's going to spice up the Maddington Toyota Series. And looking at the points, the last time I looked at them, they were pretty close in terms of points across sort of the top three. So.
I'm going to throw an early one out. Kate Amanders wins one of the nights. That's just my vibe. All right, it's just a throw. He's a speed car midget guy. He did really well at Albany, really well. And, that's just my vibe. There you go. I'm going to throw it out there. Is that you going to pick someone or are you going to be a cat?
Yeah, I'm not going to pick someone for the win, but I'm going Mikey Green to get a quick time in his group.
Okay, yes, you're a big Mikey Green guy now. He has been qualifying so good. Good on you, Mikey. Hey, he has been steering really well, and we're pushing you, Mikey. Change the orange to green, brother. Get that Steve Kinzer vibe out and rep it. What do you think, Vinny?
Yeah, I think it's a killer idea. Go to green, Mikey Green. It just works. Like when you hear Mikey Green, you expect to look out on that track and see a green car. And you and I were standing there the other night. I think he had Jock Goodyear in his group at Sydney, and we're watching them time trial it. And I'm like, watch this. He'll go close to the top here. And he ripped around, and we were like, well, that lap's all right. I think he jumped to second. And we were like, oh, yeah, let's watch this second lap. And he jumped to first. And I was like, man, that's like he's only young, and I think he's only going to get better as he gets more race meetings and stuff like that. But as we sort of discussed, it's all well and good getting your laps around WA, but it's a different beast when you get over this side of Australia. So we'll see what he can do if he gets over here at some point.
For sure, and I think Maddington Toyota Sprintcar Series just maybe having these double or multiple rounds at different tracks, not the Plex. I only think it's going to elevate the teams to maybe be more confident coming east. Yeah. And, so I can't wait. Just something different. And don't get me wrong, I love Perth Motorplex. I'll give it. It's the best. It's the best. But I'm just saying, you see a different bunch of guys at a different track. Like NASCAR couldn't just run at Daytona every weekend. No, people would stop watching because the same shit happened.
I think a lot of drivers would be knocked out.
Maybe. But yeah, one of the other things I did see this weekend, Luke Dillon is making a return with Diamond Bay Motorsports for the Geraldton rounds. Now, Diamond Bay was a nationally touring team. Now, they're not doing the series. Well, who knows, man? It's cool to see Luke Dillon. I don't think he's had a ride this year at all. Or sold up his gear, but I just think maybe Diamond Bay are fishing for a guy. They've had McHugh, they had Madsen, that didn't fall go. Obviously, that finished. Now Dillon, I don't think Dillon's a long-term option, but maybe Diamond Bay are looking for a guy, or waiting for a series, a big time around the country. I don't know. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I definitely think they're looking around for someone to sort of. Steer that 26 around sort of the high limit series and stuff like that. And just letting you know, Diamond Bay boys, I am available if yous want. I've got no helmet, no race suit or anything, but just hit me up if you need a driver. I've won a few races on World
Wait a second. So you're no gear and no ID. You're not even got all the gear, no ID. All right, that's just, You're a perfect candidate, I think.
But I've got the belief that I can go good. So let's ride with that belief and we'll get there.
All right, I don't think a sprint car team's going to run off Ted Lasso ideas of belief. So we're going to move on from that there, Vinny. But good shout, mate. And then next you're going to say make them change it to 24 as well because that suits you. All right. They don't have to do that? Okay, sorry if I put that out. Well.
No, it's a ride and drive, so I'll let them keep their number. But
okay.
If I win the title, I want like a Max Verstappen one.
If you win the title, oh my God, stop it. All right, move on. So yeah, that's the Aussie scene. I can't wait. We are officially going. Vinny is coming to Red Hot Shootout, so you'll be wearing him in his probably exact kit he's got on now. Do you have any pants on? I hope you do, because I don't want to see you running around with no pants on. But
wait, we're going to Toowoomba, and I'm actually wearing my Brisbane Broncos shorts right now.
Yeah, how'd the World Cup Challenge go, mate? Anyway, move on.
Yeah, how did the Sharks season go last year? Yeah.
I just bought grand final tickets. We beat Canberra 48-6 in a trial. Let's go, boys. All right, let's move on. That's all the sprint car stuff I have, really. Maddington Toyota Sprintcar Series, and I just feel like that series is growing more and more, and, I think the more tracks are coming on board, and, just everything Maddington Toyota do. It's so good, mate. So the last thing is really for me, sprint car racing. The Outlaws kick back off for their full season in a week. So they're still at Volusia. Calm down. Volusia. No, they're at Volusia on March 1 and 2, and then it goes to Talladega Short Track. March 6th, and so on. Mongolia, like I said, it sounds like a good Chinese dish track. Then Cannondale for 2, Lawton Speedway, March 20th. Creek County? It sounds like an outlaw fake track. Come to Creek County. USA 36 Raceway and 81 Speedway, March 28th. So they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 shows in March. Like, they're on the road. We're going to be seeing outlaw racing legit feels like every 3 to 4 days. Or,
That's
6.
good.
So we go like, let's just say with an average 5 days, we're going to see World of Outlaws racing. So I'm really excited for this year with the World of Outlaws. I think it's going to be gravel, Kofoid, Macedo show, week in, week out, battling for wins and points. I'm just really excited for that. I don't think it's going to be a runaway. And even if it was a runaway, like, good on gravel and the team, yeah. But I just don't think it's going to be that way. And then High Limit is also kicking off in March. March 12th is a 3-night banger at Las Vegas Speedway called the Sugar Bee Blackjack Bash. Damn, they know how to name some races, brother, and apparently some big money is on the line. So they start on March 12th, 13th, 14th, and then they go to Central Arizona Speedway on March 19th, 20th, 21st. Vado for one night on March 24th. March 24th. Route 66 Motor Speedway. Is that Lightning McQueen's home track or something? March 26th, and then Dodge City Raceway Park, which I like Dodge City. And saying that as well, High Limit have now gone away from Kubota. It is now the Interstate Batteries High Limit Racing, which, if you remember last year, Christopher Bell had that green car. It's that sponsor. So it's another still corporate sponsor in America. We're going to just see a lot of green vibes around High Limit now, and that's sick. So we are within a window right now of about 3 weeks till Australia's still kicking and America will be in full swing. So really exciting, and we're still going to be doing pods each week because we got Outlaws, High Limit, and obviously F1 kicks off, Binny, and Supercars just kicked off as well. So we're going to be talking, maybe our clips and all socials won't be heavy there, but we're still going to be talking about it. And NASCAR still reckon. Not reckon. I guess they are still reckon because they wreck every night at NASCAR. But anyway, we're good. So, Binny, let's get into it. Besides that, Sprintcars is done, and I've done that in 37 minutes. I'm really proud. I know we're not going to get through the next bit in 8 minutes, but you were at Sydney Motorsport Park this weekend. It did look cool, but man, from all reports, it was a scorcher at Sydney Motorsport Park.
Yeah, so I actually headed out to Free Friday, which was basically they let everyone in on the Friday for free, which was awesome because they had a little 23-lap race. I didn't get there till the Supercars race, which was all right, but got to experience the grid walk and walk out there while the cars roll up to the grid, which was really cool. But man, do we have a Supercars season on our hands. The new Supra in the category, coming up against the Chevys and the Mustangs. And like we're getting from just the first round, you're seeing guys like James Golding stepping up, his teammate Aaron Cameron, the Red Bull boys are all like always up there. And Tickford with Cam Waters and Tom Randall actually lead the team's championship going into the Australian Grand Prix, which is really cool. But Brock Feeney, after last year's disappointment, he just stood up, won 2 out of the 3 races over the weekend. But did it come at a toll on the Sunday afternoon when he got out of the car? He was pretty out of it, and I think his teammate and Davey Reynolds were both pretty exhausted after. Yeah, I think they said on the TV coverage it got to a top of like 38 degrees. That was just like on track. So you pretty much double that for inside the car. So they're running around at like 68 degrees, which I don't know about you, but I don't like the heat. So I wouldn't like running around like that.
Oh, Mate, like, I mean, if you gave me an opportunity to jump in a supercar, I'd do it at 100 degrees. But anyway, no, I'm joking. But so, what was the issue with the boys that had heated exhaustion? It was a suit fail? Or was it just that whatever they were running couldn't handle it? Like, what actually happened with those boys, Will Brown and Reynolds? Was it Reynolds or Davis?
Yeah, Reynolds.
Yeah, Reynolds. So what, like, they got off to hospital, yeah?
Yeah, so Reynolds, I'm not too sure exactly what happened with Reynolds, but the two Red Bull cars, so Feeney and Will Brown, were both having issues with their cool suit all weekend. So if you're not a fan of supercars, a cool suit basically is like a vest that has all these little tubes that run along it, and you plug it into like a dry ice compartment that's in the car, and it basically makes water flow all through them to try and keep the drivers cool. And in some cases, if the cool suit doesn't work, it still circulates that water, but it's like heated water. So it's basically like sitting in a sauna. So yeah, both Red Bull guys were pretty out of it, and there's actually some really cool footage of Brock Feeney getting out of the car after the race, and he physically couldn't even stand up. And I can't remember, Jess Yates, no, not Jess Yates, one of the pit reporters sat down next to him to do his interview because he was that exhausted. The team were pouring water over his head. And yeah, if you go on Will Brown's Instagram, there's actually some funny videos of him and Davey Reynolds sitting in the hospital while they're obviously sort of getting IV and stuff like that back into them. So yeah, it was bloody hot. As I said, I went out there on the Sunday and I got to about qualifying for the supercars, and I was like, I've got to get out of this sun. It's too hot.
Well, it's pretty crazy. You think about that. See, like, I'm not a massive supercar guy, but I feel like, knowing you now and what we do, I do like. It's weird, right? I look into it just so I can, not sound like a dumbass when I talk to you about it. Like, I don't know. Because I do want to talk about it on here because I literally get fans and people mention supercars or they go, oh yeah, Binny talks about it, and I'm like, oh yeah, let's go. But like, and then what really opened my eyes was last season of supercars, but it's our season now, going to Napa and being around it all. I was like, man, supercars does rock as like how they put on events and all that stuff. So, like, this season, like I said, I was at Toowoomba, doing whatever I was doing, working, but I tried to just check up on socials, and I feel like the drivers' socials now are becoming really powerful. Like, I only knew Brody Kostecki one was Brody Kostecki socials. Maybe because he races sprint cars and it comes in. Or I didn't know who won the other days, but I know about Will Brown and Reynolds being in hospital from their own socials. And some of the likes and insights they got from just really, taking their walls down and showing that side of what they're going through. Man, for me, that, like, I'm going to follow that guy because I get to go, like, are you serious? Like, they're in hospital and they're still like, yeah, boy, how you going? Like, I'm cooked. You know what I mean? Like, stuff like that. So, but I did also see, and this is where, while I was at the Adelaide Grand Final, a lot of people were still 50-50 about the playoffs NASCAR, which I'm all for because I've watched NASCAR. I've watched NASCAR the last few years, and I'm like, yeah, cool, whatever. Playoffs, they're sick. Because guess what? Another trip when I was coming back from Warrnambool from racing, I was watching Kyle Larson versus Denny Hamlin. I wasn't watching, like, the race. Like, so me as that type of viewer, I'm all for the supercar system, where you might not be because you're a diehard, but feeling it on the ground at Adelaide, and a lot of people were cut up. Like, Brock Feeney just got screwed out of a championship. But then the other people were like, yeah, Chaz, you've never won one, brother. You've won it. Like, it was, and now Chaz running the one, and then I see on socials, they reckon it was the biggest crowd Sydney has ever had. So, you can't tell me supercars ain't going. Like, something's right, or maybe the playoffs helped that because it intrigued people. You know what I mean? So, like, is it like the NASCARs where, like, Kostecki won and now he's locked into the playoffs because he won that one race? Or do you have to win the Sunday race, Binny, to be that lock-in spot? Or how does that work now? Because I'm still, like I said, I'm on the fence, and probably like some of our listeners, where, like, what you just told me about the suit, I was like, thank God, that's awesome. Now I thought it was on the vibe of the suit, but I didn't know. No one really, when they post about these suits and coolings, they sound like they expect you just to know what they're talking about.
Yeah, 100%. I think the Fox Sports coverage really did go into depth with what happened, and I don't know, I'm a bit of a weirdo. I like to watch the post-race show where they talk to all the drivers. And
Same as me. It's just like the NRL. I'll sit there and watch the pre-show, the game, the halftime show. Like, I love that they do that because the sport and the teams deserve that, man.
yeah, and it's just good to see again the drivers putting down their walls. Like, you're getting reporters going up to them while they're in the ice bath, and like they might not have pants on. They're just wearing their jocks in the ice bath, and they're happy to have a chat about how their race went. And like, it would have been a hard day for all the drivers, and to be able to get out of the car and go do all that is just awesome for us fans. And yeah, it's just yeah. So like the playoffs is a tricky one. I don't know. After seeing last year, I like it, but I agree. Feeney probably got sort of robbed of a championship. But in saying that, I've seen someone like Brad Keselowski win his championship in the NASCAR, and he probably shouldn't have won the year he won. It was just pure luck. Which that's motor racing sometimes. Sometimes luck's on your side, sometimes it's not. But yeah, so the playoff system for supercars is a little bit different. It's not win and you're in terms of the opening part of the season. So what they're in now is classed as the Sprint Cup. So basically, it's a whole heap of sprint races right up till, I think, right up before the 500 race, which is down at the Bend. So right up till that race, they're in Sprint Cup mode, which is just short, sharp races. It might be 2 long races on the Saturday and the Sunday, but it's your Sprint Cup. So it's not a lot of heavy strategy or anything like that. And then you go into your Enduro Cup, and then you go into your finals at the end. So basically what happens is you accumulate points all through the season. The winner of the Sprint Cup season gets a certain amount of points to go into the final series. And then same with the person that wins the Enduro Cup series, that you get a certain amount of points to go into the finals. And then basically, as soon as you get to the finals, it's your top 12 drivers get put into it. And then obviously it dwindles down over those last couple of races, which is pretty heavy to go from 12 cars down to 4 in 3 races. It's not like the playoffs back in the day for NASCAR where it sort of dwindled down over, I think it was something like 9 races was the playoffs, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was like cutthroatness, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, when, as you explained it then, I remember, like, you legit told me, yeah, the Sprint Cup Enduro, like, it all came back to me. I get, and it's actually, if you look at the scheme of things, it's pretty, like, easy to explain. Like,
Yeah.
it is, like, you go, yeah, we're through the sprint phase, so, opening round for the first 3-round sprint, Enduros, like, you can say your Bathurst races, Bathurst 500 or whatever, and then whatever, so... Yeah, no, it's cool, man. Like, it definitely feels like supercars are in a spot, and this is where we come in, I feel, and people can say whatever, but we come into play with sprint car racing here in Australia. We're media. So, like, if you're at the track and something happens or we get an interview that isn't on the stream, you can get it on social media whether you're at the track or you're watching on Cleverview at home. And now Supercars is the same. Supercars goes, but they got it all in one, obviously, on Fox Sports. You can be at the track with your phone, having a ripper time, sinking some tins or spending time with your family, having all food trucks. And if you miss something, you can go straight on your socials and it will be there because you follow Supercars. It's in your algorithm. Like, if something's happening with the suits or the ice baths, man, that'll be on your social media in 3 seconds.
Yeah.
So, like, you're not... Like, I remember when I went with you last year to Sydney on that Saturday, we were watching on Foxtel, and me as not a supercar guy, I'm like, man, I can't... What am I might as well go watch at home. Like, because, like, what am I watching in turn one? But if I... Now being at Adelaide, and Adelaide's a bloody Easter show on motorsport, didn't matter where I was, cars were around me. Like, me, that's huge for me. Like, I'd go to Adelaide 500, didn't matter if there was no Napa. I'd go. I'd spend the week there. Yeah, heck yeah, let's go watch this and spend time in this. And, you know, and I feel like each supercar event would be like that in a way. So I just feel like everything is so in touch now. We all say everything's at our palm of our hands in socials. But now it's at the point that it actually isn't ruining you going to the track, because at the track you still get everything on you. Like, if you want to know something that maybe happened a lap earlier, oh yeah, here we go, look at that, guys. Hey, you want a beer? Yeah, cool, and give me a hot dog too. Like, you know, so you don't miss out. And I think that's just where Supercars is really going, and the places. This year's going to be big for Supercars, I think. Like, Guns N' Roses is playing. You know how good Guns N' Roses is at Adelaide Grand Final? Oh, that's a ticket alone. That's legit a ticket alone right there. So, there you go.
Question for you.
Maybe have an answer.
After being at the Adelaide 500, what are your thoughts about MotoGP now running around Adelaide?
I can't wait to see it. That would be... Like, I don't know. Like, being at Sydney with you and watching Supercars. Oh, yeah. Like, I don't know. It didn't do it for me. Like, I don't know, maybe because Speedway, we can be on that fence and push that edge and get hit by clay, and just the raw power is near you. So now at Adelaide, bro, when I was near the back, one of the straights near the Speedway, and bro, you're literally it feels like 3 meters away from the supercars going, and you're like, oh, that is sick. Now, imagine a bunch of guys on motorbikes doing those speeds. Sign me up. Like, I know people blowing up. Is this what you're saying, like how Phillip Island might not be good now or something? They're moving it? That's what they've legit done, hey? They moved it from the official, like, Phillip Island was the Australia location for MotoGP. But I feel they've obviously tried to do it to try get more eyes to MotoGP. Because there's so many people at that event at Adelaide. Like, it's only going to be bigger next year. It's only going to be bigger.
So it hasn't been... It's been announced that it's a revised circuit, so it won't be the circuit that the supercars run on, and it hasn't been announced whether it's going to match up on the same weekends, but it's still going to use the same sort of pit sort of area, so I don't think it can line up with the supercars, because I don't think supercars are going to want to share a pit lane with a bunch of bikes, and I don't think the bikes are going to want to share a pit lane with a bunch of supercars. But it's going to be cool, and I think the only way that I can see them doing it is one at the start of the year and one at the end of the year, or they're going to have to do like a 2-week festival, like Festival of Speed or something, and can be able to change the track to suit the bikes, because obviously the safety sort of side of things for bikes, you're not going to be able to run bikes going down into that back turn 8 section, because, man, they come off there, they're hitting a concrete wall. So it's going to be interesting.
Sorry, my mic was off. I'll turn it on again. From what you just said, it's a lot of preparation for the City of Adelaide to close off their sections. Bro, the first night of Napa, I was walking through that event and they were still building bars and still laying out tarps where people can walk and these bike tracks, like not bike tracks, like golf cart avenues and like I think it's gonna, if it's not on the weekend of Supercars, like you said, maybe they build it for that. But I just don't see like what else can you have at MotoGP like what Supercars have. Like the Sprint cars aren't going to be there 2 weeks. MotoGP, the motocross ain't going to be there 2 weeks. Like what else are you going to offer besides MotoGP? So obviously them moving it away from Phillip Island has to be to get more people at the event. Maybe they're just not happy that enough people are going to Phillip Island. They're trying to get it in a city where it's like, oh, well, we think we're going to get more people there because people live there and it's easy to fly to Adelaide. Versus Phillip Island Phillip Island on the week MotoGP's here would be a rip. They would, like, they know you're only coming for here, brother. So we're going to bank you up, you know? So, you're right, the track would have to change. Like, it's gnarly as hell for a bike, but I would go to it more than that. I'm not a MotoGP guy. I wouldn't even know a driver's name right now. A rider's name, sorry, I said driver. But I wouldn't go out of my way to go to Phillip Island. So maybe if it was in Adelaide, cool. But, that's sick, you know? So, the Adelaide 500 really got my interest back in Supercars. But it's an event, and like I said, I literally want to talk to me, mate, about something sometimes, and I know it's a passion of yours. So I'll get into it for you, which we both into this one, which I hadn't watched the highlights yet. But you told me NASCAR is back. We are back in that scheme of things. Daytona 500, Michael Jordan team wins, Tyler Reddick wins. Then they have the shit going on with Michael Jordan, whatever, and then he backs it up again at Atlanta. Brother, talk to me about what your thoughts were Atlanta.
Yeah, Atlanta, since they redeveloped that track, is just wicked. Like, you've got the speeds of Daytona, but not as banked. Like, that's how fast they're going around there. So it's wicked quick, and I think, to see Tyler Reddick go back to back, you don't really see that often in NASCAR anymore. You don't see people go back to back a lot, and when they do, they generally go on a pretty big streak of wins. But yeah, some big things. Shane Van Gisbergen got his best oval result. Even after doing a Lightning McQueen across the infield after being punted by Kyle Larson. So it's cool, and I think it's only gonna like Larson and Van Gisbergen both seemed like they weren't pissed off with each other. They were just like, yeah, it's racing, let's move on. So, and I think the NASCAR series is like that. You can't really dwell on anything that happens in a race because they are so long, and it's such a long season. Like it doesn't matter. Like those guys, but
it feels like the tensions and arguments and fights happen in NASCAR when it's road racing. Because, you go into a tight bend and I bumped you out of the freaking way. Where it's like, bro, we're in a draft. We're 3-4 wide. I was getting pushed. I can't even exactly tell you how I spun you. And, watching the replay, you can watch it 7 times. And did I break there? Did he? Where, the road courses really go, oh, well, bro, you went from right to left and cut my left rear straight off. So I feel like that, and especially Kyle Busch loves a bit of a drama around those type of tracks. But, NASCAR, you're right. Atlanta is just a place where it's a great medium between Daytona and, something real small, but puts on really good racing.
Yeah, it was wicked, and I was going to say something, but now I can't think of what I was going to say to you. it will come to me. Keep talking, because I have
I don't really have much more NASCAR, so we might move on to our next segment. Good job, Vinny. He'll text it to me at like 11 o'clock tonight, and I'll go, sorry, brother, cannot edit that in. We're going to go on to our BK Racing Performance Products top 3 moments. Now, mine are going to be from Ultimate Pink Night, and yours are going to be from whatever you want over the last few weeks, right? So I'm going to start Ultimate Pink Night for me. Number 3, man, how they did the national anthem. They did a burnout car with pink smoke, and it even got down to sparks. And then the O'Connell family driving around in their speed cars and sprint cars. And it's like one moment they came through smoke that I don't even know how they seen on the track. It was that covered. I was in the pit gate trying to film, and I sat at the wrong wind section. And all of a sudden, I got smoke straight at me, and I was like, well, I can't see anything at this moment in time. But yeah, it was just how they did that whole, like, I don't know, presentation of like, yeah, this event matters, guys. You know, it felt really good. Number 2 for me was liveries, guys giving it a go, and the fans, whatever. It was just the vibe that some teams, I already mentioned them. You know, Talia Pell, Renee McKee, Riley Smith, the O'Connell brothers, all the liveries and stuff just added to it. And then, obviously, the moment for me was the McHugh-Newton battle for that little section of the feature. I wish we got more of it. But, man, it was just 2 guys that gave each other so much room. I think Newton threw a bigger slide job that was deep. Like, he backed it up. And just, wow, their talent and cars really showed in that moment. And, really excited for Red Hot Shootout. I think it's going to be a really big... Let's see who the Australian Sprint Car favourite is for the next season. Like, hands down. And right now, you can't say Lockie McHugh is not the favourite going into Red Hot or the Australian Sprint Car title for next season. Just with his form and just that car at the moment can be a weapon or a top 5 minimum. I don't see him out of top 5 on a worst night. So that's my vibe. What is your top 3 BK racing performance moments from the last few weeks?
Yeah, so number 1 for me is Kobe Wright getting the win a year on from when he won his last feature race. I just think it's really cool. He's a young kid. He's just loving racing. And he finished that race, and we're like, oh, you're heading up to Toowoomba? And he's like, no, I'm going to go run at Lake Liddell. Like, he's having fun with his mate as well. Like, I think they were both leading. I don't know who's winning that points battle now, but him and his mate were literally first and second in the points at Lake Liddell. So he's just a really cool young kid, and I think he's got lots of talent, and he'll be up there in the next few years and really challenging, and probably not the biggest budget like the big guys, but he still puts up a hell of a battle. Number 2 for me, this is actually from the Bathurst 12 hour. So it's one of the drivers driving the Ford Mustang in the sort of factory team, as you'd call it, coming down Conrod Straight and hitting a kangaroo at 250 k's an hour. That's just insane to see him walk away from that crash. But to see the images of his helmet, his race suit, and just the blood and guts covering him. The poor bloke said that in an interview that he had 3 showers and he was still smelling it. So that's ripper job. Like, I don't know whether I'd get back in a car after hitting a roo at that speed. And then number 3 is just we're going to go to the Supercars now because I was there all weekend. And it's Brock Feeney's effort to come back and win 2 out of the 3 races over the weekend after sort of walking away from last year, with his sort of head between his legs and not very happy. And
brother, I think it's tail between your legs. Head between your legs is out of control. You need to get your terminologies right. Unless I'm wrong, someone tell me.
No, I think you're right. I was like, I don't know
Between your
what
legs. Wild.
he's
Poor
doing
Brock
something
Feedy.
else.
Poor Brock.
But yeah, Brock Feedy. We'll just cut that one out, yeah?
Bro, cut that out. That might be in the clip, for God's sakes. Oh, my God. Anyway, so that's today's episode, I think. We've gone through it. Maddington Toyota this weekend. Sydney this weekend. Other meetings are coming on. There's a lot of 360 LX action up at Toowoomba. Australian titles, Queensland titles. I think there's another even 410 round up there. Sydney this weekend, probably just dribbled that as well. Red Hot's coming up. Then Maddington Toyota Grand Finals coming up. Outlaws, High Limit. And when are the Supercars back in action, brother?
Supercars back in action at Albert Park for the Grand Prix. So about 2 weeks away. Till
That's right. They're lazy.
off.
These blokes only race once a month or something. So anyway. All right. Thank you, of course. And again, Eliminated Racing, BK Racing Performance Products. Make sure, if you're watching on YouTube now, subscribe. And if you want to be a part of the Rubber Down family, hit us up and let's get it happening.